This is like a horror movie. Oh my gosh. Hey fellow Force users, what is up? It's Ahsoka Tano fan and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it's time for another episode of WandaVision. I think we're going to the 80s in this episode, hence my semi-80s look here with the denim oversized jacket. Or maybe it's kind of 90s, I don't know, but close enough. So yeah, guys, I'm excited for this episode. We know obviously the last episode, it was called We Interrupt This Program, and it quite literally was an interruption because they brought us out of the sitcom momentarily and kind of let us in as to what was going on in the outside world. And we got to see Sword, we got to see Monica Rambeau, and the moment that she was blipped and came back into existence. And we got a little bit more backstory on her mom and a little bit more of an idea of who might be in control here, which is looking to be more likely Wanda in this case. It looks like for this episode, they're probably going to go back to the sitcom era. I was just kind of looking at the thumbnail, and it looks like I see Wanda and Agnes in 80s clothes. There's apparently supposed to be some cameo coming up. Now, I don't know if that cameo is supposed to be this episode or if it's supposed to be for the finale. A couple thoughts as to who that could be. Some people think it could be Doctor Strange because Doctor Strange, as we know, part 2 is coming up, and Wanda could very well be an antagonist in that because they're already kind of setting her up to be a villain going forward from what we've seen so far in WandaVision. You know, I'm not super comic savvy and Marvel savvy as some other people are, but I've heard that apparently Magneto was her father or something like that. Maybe if he made a cameo, that would make sense. Someone in my comments also said that in the comics, apparently Wolverine was the one that kind of knew what was going on and that the reality wasn't really as it seemed. That would be an interesting cameo too if they had Wolverine show up, and who knows like what other cameos there could be. I mean, I don't know, you could have like Spider-Man maybe, or I don't know, that's kind of a reach. I am excited to see who this cameo is. Apparently Elizabeth Olsen says it's supposed to be right up there with Luke Skywalker's cameo in The Mandalorian. So yeah, if we see it in this episode, that would be awesome. If not, that'll just give us more time to speculate, right? I wonder if we'll find out more about Vision as well, because we saw that shocking Vision scene at the end of last episode, obviously, and that heavily implies that he is dead. There goes my theory of Vision potentially being Mephisto in disguise. What I'm thinking now is probably that he doesn't realize he's actually dead, and Wanda is having him under some sort of mind control, so he thinks he's really alive, and that's why he asks her, you know, what's wrong when he sees how she looks at him. It might very well end with Vision finally finding out that he is dead, and asking Wanda to let him go. If she does that, then that might bring her back to reality. So Vision could be the one to save her at the end of the day. It does make me wonder though if everybody else can see Vision that way. I don't know if he's walking around looking like that and everybody in this town has been trained to just not say anything and pretend like he's alive, and Wanda sees him as alive. That I'm not sure about, but I guess we'll find out more about that going forward. Time to stop speculating and actually watch the episode now. This episode's longer too, I noticed. 41 minutes.
You will be my favorite twin.
They're so cute.
Sounds like we're on a date.
Getting so big, the twins. Oh, that didn't work.
And go to sleep.
Huh. She can't control them just like she couldn't control the stork. Shit.
Hiya, kid.
Agnes.
Agnes, I was just fluffing this pillow with my face.
Changed quick.
I was just on my way to Jazzercise when I heard your new little bundles of joy were on a sleep strike. And I've got a couple of tricks up my sleeve.
Oh, Agnes.
Tricks.
Say
Interesting choice of language.
Loads for their heads. And when was the last time you washed your hands? Actually, you know what? Just maybe we better not.
Do you want me to take that again? I'm sorry? You want me to hold the babies?
It's like they're acting.
Don't be silly.
Whoa. Just got serious there for a sec. What? That was so strange.
Oh.
Lavender. Supposed to have a calming effect. Ralph sprays it on me every night, but there's no taming this tiger. What?
Ralph again.
Did you really not see what I saw?
For the twins. What kind of babysitter do you think I am? I'm just gonna go and check in there.
Wow.
They're out.
Then where are the twins? Mommy? Daddy?
Whoa, that's so weird, guys.
Kids.
I was just gonna say, it's so weird that they're jumping decades, but the twins are still babies.
No matter how hard you try.
And look, now they're older. How did she do that? It's a commercial again? Oh, and it's got that glow to it. Oh, it's the intro song. Those real pictures? Real babe pictures? Maybe. So Wanda's having them all play a role, and Vision is not a part of that. Oh, Monica again. I didn't think we'd see her this episode. She's feeling Wanda's grief.
Monica, I know. I'm a big fan.
Aw.
We're gonna need to take these again.
Women supporting other women.
There's a blank.
Morning.
There's a blank.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Throwing shade at the
Now
Avengers.
that we got the lay of the land, let's talk about stress.
People.
Allow me. Hayward's a dude.
Terrorists. It was the top secret location of the Vision's corpse.
That was probably the deleted scene from Endgame.
Problem, people.
Well, that confirms the theory, guys. She stole his body.
What happens when he learns the truth?
That's the thing. That's the question I have too. He'll tell her to let him go.
Oh boy.
Oh, they're so cute.
I'm sure his owners miss him very much. Come on.
Mephisto? Another animal, guys.
There really is. Taking care of a living thing is a big responsibility.
You would know Wanda.
Exercise. How about Sparky?
Oh.
Wanda.
Oh!
This is right there. Why aren't you telling me?
So Sparky a dog, Daddy?
Is Sparky in the comics? No? I don't know.
I won't there a
Let's just hope this dog stays the same size.
Yo, she's dropping hints right now. What does that mean? Dog stay the same size? Like come out of disguise? Come out of his form? Mephisto? Or am I thinking too hard? I don't know.
Safely re-enter Westview, right? Yes, theoretically.
She wants to go back in. Oh shit.
With your answers by dinner time. I know an aerospace engineer who'd be up for this challenge.
But I can't guarantee that.
What's a hex?
Oh, it's what I'm calling the anomaly because of its hexagonal shape. It's starting to catch on.
I
I
like that.
really want to go back in there.
I'd argue that Captain Marvel came close.
Oh.
Her powers came from an Infinity Stone too, right?
We are
See that look on her face?
about her. We are talking about
When they mentioned Captain Marvel?
What are we looking for?
Her clothes.
that.
Oh man, are we being mind controlled to see that right now?
Jeepers creepers.
Darcy's asking the questions we're all asking.
They're real, all right.
Oh, girl.
Whoa!
They didn't damage the clothes.
What happens if we send something in that requires no change?
What is she thinking? Oh, he's back at this place
You're
again.
telling me this is a typewriter?
Oh, God.
Sword. Top secret communicate. Authenticate. Dr. Darcy Lewis findings regarding Maximus.
Oh, but he thinks something of it
Oh, come
though.
on, pal. What are we gonna write back? You're the office funding guy.
They're using that to communicate.
It's a joke. Can't you tell? None of it is real.
Look at his face.
It hurts. It hurts so much. Just make her stop.
Just make her stop.
Wow.
Technology.
So we're unraveling this mystery real quick.
Sit, Sparky. Sit.
Wanda's in everyone's head. I don't know if she's in the twins' head though. They seem like they're witches on their own.
Do you have a brother, Mom?
Oh.
I do. Something's scaring him.
The drone?
I know this.
Maximoff located.
Well done.
We can't see the drone on the broadcast.
I just want to talk. That's it.
Oh!
No joy.
Take the shot.
Is it armed? Is she sending someone through to sword? Or will Wanda herself come through? This is like a horror movie. Oh my gosh. It looks like her. So what happened to everything else? Everything else just stops in time while she gets until she gets back, or?
Stay out of my home. You don't bother me. I won't bother you. Wanda?
Oh! She was just flexing her power. Her clothes changed when she came out. The commercial.
Still using the next leading brand? But when you make a mess, you didn't mean to.
Okay, that's also kind of related to what's going on.
Little dude.
The mailman.
Find your dog.
Don't worry, he's sure to turn up. Your mom won't let him get far. Ma'am.
I don't know where he could have gone. What happened there?
What did Agnes do?
My azalea bushes. Don't
Fix is dead.
what?
You said too much. Kid.
You can do that.
We can't reverse death. No matter how sad it makes us.
Wanda.
Some things are forever.
Girl, that's so hypocritical. Ooh, he's gonna talk to her.
Talk to him free of your homicide. He was in pain, Wanda.
Think you can change everything over again? No, Wanda. You can't control me the way you do that.
Can't I?
Stop lying to me!
This, all of this, is for us. You don't want to know, I promise you.
You don't get to make that choice for me, Wanda. What? Before what? I can't remember my life before Westview. I don't know who I am.
The cameo? Doctor Strange? Maybe? Or Magneto? Those are my two guesses.
Wanda, who is this?
Or Pietro? Is that him? No. Quicksilver from the other universe? What?
She recast Pietro?
Whoa. Whoa! Okay, I didn't see that coming.
Who's a popsicle?
Oh my gosh. This show just keeps getting more and more interesting. Wow. Wow, the credits show everything kind of blowing up or something. Wow, have they always shown that? It shows her reality blowing up and then taking form in wedding bands. Anyways, okay guys, we have a lot to talk about there. As always, I brought up my notes. Wow. I guess going forward, they're going to kind of have the layout of sitcom as well as being brought into the real world. So that was kind of cool to see. I didn't know if we were going to see Monica again and the sword agents until later on in the series. We can definitely feel the sitcom, lighthearted comedy style becoming a bit less and less now. There are less laughs from the audience compared to the beginning, almost to the point where when we hear the audience, we're kind of reminded, oh yeah, shoot, they're following a sitcom style. And I think that is just kind of to reflect how the story is starting to take a darker turn now, and so it's less lighthearted than it was in the beginning. Okay, so in this episode, it really started to make me question who is under mind control and who isn't. At the beginning, we see Agnes come. She shows up out of nowhere, which she always does, and she offers to look after the babies. Then she says, should we try that again, or something to that effect. And that made me realize, oh, okay, she knows that everybody in this town has a role to play, and Wanda is, as she mentioned in episode 2, the star of the show, right? Later, when you see Vision talk to Norm, he's under complete mind control, and it's not until Vision kind of goes into his mind that he hears the real story, how he hasn't been able to get in touch with his family and that sort of thing. But with Agnes, she's not under complete mind control. Vision doesn't seem to be under complete mind control either, because he's also questioning what's going on. And Herb, who we didn't see this episode, but we saw in episode 3, same thing. He's about to tell Vision something, and then he never finishes telling Vision what he was going to tell him. But it just made me feel like the two of them, Agnes and Herb, seem to be aware, more aware of what's going on, whereas other people seem to be under complete mind control. And I know I sound like a broken record, but we still have that line from episode 2 that Agnes said to Wanda, which was that Dottie is the key to everything in this town. And I'm just wondering what she meant by that. Is Dottie also aware of what's going on as well? Is it possible that Wanda has selected some people to help recruit people into this town and keep them in character, and maybe that also includes Dottie somehow? You can tell that Wanda is also very comfortable around Agnes, kind of like how she was around Geraldine. She definitely trusts her enough to show her powers in front of her, and that was shown when she created the dog collar, right, for Sparky. It also kind of implies that Agnes might betray her potentially at some point. At the end of the episode, when Vision was questioning Wanda as to what was going on, the doorbell rang and she said, oh, I didn't do that. Oh, you don't believe me. And I'm questioning if she was really sincere or not, but it's possible that maybe some things are happening that she actually is not controlling, and maybe it's someone like Agnes, who could be Agatha Harkness from the comics, who people have talked about. She might be doing things that Wanda is not fully in control of, without Wanda even realizing that necessarily, such as, bringing Quicksilver in to the picture. Even with the whole Sparky being found dead, that was really sketchy, how she just kind of emerged from the bushes like that. She might have had something to do with Sparky being killed, or maybe Sparky wasn't really dead. Maybe if Sparky was Mephisto somehow, he just took a different form, and so Agnes tried to hide that from Wanda and the kids by just saying that Sparky was found dead. I don't know. There's honestly so much to speculate here, but we do know that Mephisto takes multiple forms, and it's very suspect that we've seen animals, just random animals in the past episodes, like the rabbit from episode 2, the stork from episode 3, and then now we have Sparky. And apparently in the comics, though, Sparky is actually a dog, a synthesoid that was created by Vision, apparently in an attempt to reunite his family. So I don't know if there's a correlation there somehow. Okay, so in this episode, we finally got confirmation that Wanda did in fact steal Vision's body. What's shocking, though, is that it happened 9 days ago, as confirmed during that scene. And so that just kind of puts into perspective how quickly she has taken this town hostage. I've been wondering this whole time, what's the significance of Wanda jumping decades? And I'm just wondering if maybe she kind of wants to give herself the illusion that she has had all this time with Vision going through the decades, so to speak, when in reality it seems like it's only been 9 days since she's even taken his body. And so maybe she kind of wants that period of time to feel longer, and that's the significance of going from 50s to 60s to 70s to 80s. We see Vision now, he's starting to get more concerned. We've actually never seen him this angry before as we have in this episode. That whole scene with him and Norm, that kind of confirmed Vision's suspicions all along that something might be happening and that not everything is as it seems. And he asked the same question that many people have asked: where are the children in Westview? Every morning I go to work and the playground is empty. And it's just such a powerful moment because he tells her, you can't control me like everybody else. But she quite literally is controlling his corpse, and she is determining his surroundings for him, and she's determining what he knows and what he doesn't know. And he even says he doesn't remember what happened in his life before. It just foreshadows that he is gonna find out, guys, and I still think that he may be the one to bring her back at the end of all this. Just like Jimmy had said, he doesn't want to be anybody's weapon, and so he's gonna tell her to let him go. And that's going to be a telling moment for her character, whether she's able to do that or if she's going to choose to keep him in this state. We got to see a lot more of Wanda's backstory in this episode as well, with her Sokovian upbringing and what happened to her parents, so that was really cool. That scene where she went out and confronted the sword agents, that was pretty terrifying. We're seeing full-on Scarlet Witch in a show that has shown us a lot of Wanda. And the way that she just put all those agents under her mind control was just a show of how powerful she really is. She is both villain and victim in this, and it remains to be seen whether anybody else is somehow involved or if it's just her. Monica's scenes in this episode were really good and were really telling. As we saw with the clothes, you know, they were essentially bulletproof and they weren't damaged at all. Monica was wearing a bulletproof vest when she went in, so it looks like that bulletproof vest changed into bulletproof clothing. I think, if I understood that correctly, that's what they're trying to tell us. And then that's when Monica had said that this town it's not like just a figment of her imagination. She is quite literally rewriting reality here, which is what she did in the comics as well. When Monica was under that mind machine, there's two things I found telling. So one, she was talking about how she felt Wanda's voice inside her head. It's just kind of showing us a little bit more how Wanda is controlling these people, and she's quite literally in their head, making them think these things and changing the reality that way. But the scans showed up blank, which is what the woman said. And I don't know if that implies that maybe like whatever happened in Westview gets erased when you're ejected from Westview or something like that. When Jimmy brought up Captain Marvel, Monica kind of dismissed her, and that makes me wonder if she's mad at her or if she blames her somehow, perhaps for the death of her mother. Maybe like Captain Marvel promised to do something, didn't follow through. I'm not sure what that's about, but I definitely kind of sensed a little bit of animosity towards Captain Marvel from Monica's end. Also, who is the aerospace engineer that Monica was talking about? I literally have no idea. So apparently in the comics, she knows Reed from Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic, who happens to have expertise in aerospace engineering. And so that could be a possibility. It could be related to the X-Men somehow. And then that also raises the question, is the X-Men now coming into the same universe? Because that was kind of heavily implied with Quicksilver showing up at the end there. I wonder if that was the cameo that Elizabeth Olsen was talking about, or if there's going to still be another one. But that I obviously did not see coming. And it was, of course, Evan Peters and not Aaron Taylor Johnson, who played Quicksilver in Avengers. So they're kind of maybe implying there that there could be a potential molding of those two universes. If so, that would be awesome to see. Something I mentioned earlier was that when the doorbell rang, Wanda had told Vision, I didn't do that. And she seemed just as surprised to see Pietro as we all were. And I'm just wondering, did she unknowingly do that, like recast Pietro in her own mind? And then that's how he shows up, because we do know that she talks about him briefly with her twins or kids earlier on in the episode, and then next thing you know, he shows up in the episode. I think Wanda's twins, they played a significant role too. At the very beginning, when they were still babies, we saw that Wanda could not control them. That was kind of almost like how she couldn't control the stork from back in episode 3. That could imply maybe that the children have their own powers that kind of counteract their moms. And obviously, we see them physically age themselves in the episode as well. Agnes was the one that kind of came to the rescue. And as soon as she comes, not only is she able to get them to stop crying, she literally ages them. That definitely implies more and more that she is more likely to be a witch, and probably Agatha Harkness from the comics. But the twins definitely seem to have their own powers, and they definitely seem to be aware of their mother's powers. When Sparky is found dead, they say, why can't you just bring him back? That you can bring back people from the dead. And then Agnes is like, you can do that? I don't know if she's being sincere there or just playing dumb, but I think Agnes knows more than she's letting on, obviously. What's going to happen as more and more people are aware of Wanda and her powers and what she's doing, it might kind of slowly tear her reality apart. And if you actually watch the end credits, that's kind of what it looks like. It looks like they're showing Wanda's house, and symbolizing her reality coming apart and then taking form again in the form of 2 wedding bands, which is completely symbolic of what's happening in the story, because she's basically tearing all these people's lives apart, like Norm, for the sake of her reality with Vision, so she can live together with her and Vision. Everything she's doing is for her and Vision, which is obviously incredibly selfish, but it's how she's handling her grief. And Monica even said she felt Wanda's grief, so there's a lot of grief there. When Darcy Lewis and Jimmy Woo are talking about the director, Hayward, she starts to say that he's the D word, dick, and gets cut off. As soon as she gets cut off and the scene changes, he is in the middle of saying the word terrorist, which he's using to refer to Wanda.
Hayward's a dick. Terrorists.
When you kind of read out both their lines, it's basically like he's a terrorist. And then they cut to director Hayward. And I just wonder if the writers did that scene change on purpose to imply something. Is it possible that he's maybe hiding something and could actually end up being a villain in this? That might be a little bit of a reach. Anyways, there's so much going on, so much to speculate. You guys let me know what you think down in the comments about the episode. Did you like it? Are there any thoughts or predictions you might have? And yeah, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe as well, and leave a comment to keep the discussion going. And yeah, until next time, guys, take care and see you in the next video. Oh yeah, guys, and one more thing. That Easter egg commercial showing the Lagos paper towel brand was actually in reference to the Avengers' mission to Lagos, as seen in the beginning of Captain America: Civil War. The team tracked down Crossbones, but when Captain America was interrogating him, he detonated a suicide vest. In a quick act of thinking, Scarlet Witch contained the blast and redirected it upwards. In doing so, the blast hit a nearby building, killing civilians, meaning that the red juice and dripping sound effects in the commercial very likely represents bloodshed. The phrase in the commercial, "When you make a mess you didn't mean to," heavily relates to Wanda unintentionally killing civilians in an attempt to save her comrade, and could no doubt foreshadow that her desire to have a life with Vision in Westview at the expense of other people could very well have unintended consequences too. Well, that's it for me, guys, and see you next week in the next video.